All right, people, I am stuck in traffic right now. I am on my way to go rent a Home Depot truck. We're going to drive that to a couple lumber shops here, check out their supplies. Basically, stocking up on some 3/4 plywood for cabinets. Again, I got the Stern style now, full size. Probably for my budget game, I'll go with like a 48 inch. I think you can get more wood out of that. It makes the cabinet a little bit smaller. Again, you're talking about a pretty low price point, maybe like 3,000 bucks. Don't know yet for that one. So I want to maybe offer two different ranges of prices, and that would be a thinner cabinet and everything. But anyway, yeah, heading out here. The last couple days, Hexa Pinball, they've got a couple games out. They did Space Hunt, and now they got Three Musketeers that they're pushing out. Their press release said that they have this patent for resin filling their play fields and whatnot. I took a look at it. They're doing it a little bit different than everybody else, but at the end of the day, they're still resin filling inserts. So their boldest claim in their press release is that we have, because we resin fill like this, we can cut any custom insert shape. Well, everybody's been doing that for a long time. Spooky, when I reached out to them publicly on a forum, they said, yeah, these guys are 10 years late to whatever. We've been filling resin inserts in custom shapes. American Pinball, I'll just show you here. Here's a video of their factory tour where they say Bader Pinball Playfields. Some guy in Chicago area makes, or at least he used to make playfields for Spooky and American Pinball. I don't know if they're both using them now. But you can see this gigantic custom cutout shape. That's not an insert that's coming from Pinball Life or anything. So again, this idea of custom shapes and forms is not any different. And they're also resin filling them. So he talks about how it's flush. He says that it's fused with the play field. So I was back and forth talking with Spooky Luke on Pinside through some instant messaging. And yeah, I was trying to get to the bottom of this because they're claiming they have this, and it's pretty obvious if you look at Spooky's inserts, they're really like pure milky white. So that's not an insert coming from Pinball Life or something that's cast. Going back and forth, what he told me, I'll kind of try to draw the process out here, but it's my understanding and some other people I talked to, and again, Spooky Luke said this, they laser cut their inserts to the shape they want.
Go past this light and turn right onto West Florida Avenue.
They cut the wood out in whatever custom shape. They cut out a piece of plastic in that same custom shape, stamp it in, and then they leave maybe a millimeter or something. I don't know the exact thing. And then they fill it with liquid, some kind of resin. Maybe they UV cure it or whatever. And it hardens pretty flush. I don't know if they're sanding afterwards. I would assume they have to, just a little bit. Just really light sanding, I would assume. But when you're filling it with water, so what you're doing is as you stamp an insert in a hole, you want a shelf on the bottom so the inserts don't sink. But that might not be 100% perfect. So if you even got a little bit of a lip on the insert coming above the playfield, or if it's a little bit below, you go to clear coat, you got a big bump, either a bump that goes up or a bump that drops down and dips. So by filling it with the liquid, you have it on the shelf, and if that's not perfect, you're filling it with the liquid on top so that it will be flush 100%. And all the other companies, if there's any imperfections, I don't know how imperfect it would be. But anyway, once you put them in, you don't have to sand them anymore. What I'm getting at, though, is, yeah, I talked to them back and forth, and we're under the impression that, yeah, obviously custom inserts have been done for a long time. This is not unique.
Turn right onto West Florida Avenue.
The claim that it is like some super unique idea was kind of crazy. And then to show me the patent, they gave me a link. Hexa Pinball did, and I looked it up, and really, again, it's just you're filling a hole with resin that's diffusing the light. So don't think it's enforceable. Their method of doing it's a little different. They cut a pocket from underneath the playfield, they fill it with resin. Once it hardens, they flip it over and cut a layer off the top.
At the next stop sign, turn left.
So I guess it's a unique process, but the end result, you can actually do that. I've done this myself years ago. If you just cut a hole fully through the playfield, flip it upside down,
at the
you can put a
stop
piece
sign,
of tape
turn left onto
on the
West
top
Church
of the
Avenue.
playfield,
Then
fill
continue
from the
straight
bottom,
onto South Milwee Street.
let it cure, and then you just pull the tape right off. And you got an insert casted mold right in there. And as long as the resin is, curing for about an hour or so, it's hard enough that once you drop it in, yeah, it'll cure just fine in there. It's not going to leak or anything. So anyway, fun times, guys. Again, right now I'm headed to the lumber store. We are going to start cutting the Dumb and Dumber playfield cabinet, all that stuff. We're going to get molding on it. LCD is going to look nice. We're going to have laser cut metal and stuff. This is going to be a really nice looking game. It's going to be fully on my
Continue
platform.
straight
It's
onto
gonna be
South Millway
badass.
Street.
And, you know, I've been doing this for 7 years, guys. I haven't changed course. Same path, same pricing, same ideologies. We'll get there. Now here's Chris Turner also saying he has a novel idea for a pop bumper where he detects the electricity between the skirt and the upper assembly of a pop bumper. And it's funny because if you go back 10 years ago and you look at Ben Heck, who is now the coder for Spooky, I don't know if he does that full time, but his video 10 years ago, he does the same thing.
I cut this mangled looking thing that we can use for testing purposes. And we need the ring around the top and then the disc around the bottom because you need 2 points to complete a circuit.
With the multimeter. Okay, it's beeping. That's good.
And you can trigger the microcontroller to send a signal to actuate the solenoid.
Here, I was showing him one of the new features, and then we have a metal base plate, and we actually can detect the ball by either the ball bridging between the plate and the skirt, or between the skirt and the part that hits the ball, that little ring. And we've got a patent pending on this design.
So again, me just by myself over these years, I'm searching through Google patents. I'm going on YouTube. I'm seeing what the homebrew guys are doing. I'm watching every video, every interview. And, you know, again, when you think that that's some new idea when it was made 10 years ago, you got to be on top of the game, guys. Again, my claims and why I'm making this company.
In 2 miles, use the right lane to take
I'm
exit
not here
90BA
to just
for
make
Florida
money, be a
414
businessman.
West Maitland Boulevard.
I'm trying to make pinball affordable. $10,000 is not affordable. Yes, I've seen what Wonderland did. They did a pretty good job with everything. It looks good. Yeah, it's made in China. It's probably a lot cheaper to make in China, obviously. But just real quick, the detour with Wonderland Amusements. Guys, their Kickstarter was $700,000 gross. They have 6 American workers listed on their website. That's not very much money for a salary, especially for toy execs. Okay, on top of that, you look at, they got a Chinese guy that runs a Chinese company that does all their research, development, design, programming, injection molds, all their tooling. So that is not cheap. So post Kickstarter, it looks like people are enjoying the game. Fine with me. It looks like they probably sold more. They probably went from 700,000 to maybe $1 million at this point. Okay, but again, $1 million divided by just their American crew is not much money. So they got Ninja Turtles coming out. Maybe they'll make some more money, but you look at those numbers, they're not that great. They really need to scale. I already knew this from the beginning. They're estimating they're going to hit like 2,000 to 3,000 or more in sales. They said in one of their videos they're tooling for 10,000 units. That's a pretty high number. They could maybe do it. I don't know. I'm not God, but you know, it's possible. It's a long way to go from where they're at. I'd be scared of losing all my money. Again, Turner came out with Ninja Eclipse. He sold 100 units, $7,000. That's gross, 700 grand.
In half a mile,
year
use the
and a
right
half
lane to
worth of
take
like
exit
development,
90BA
tooling,
for
getting
Florida
everything.
414 West Maitland
You start
Boulevard.
subtracting all that, the time and everything, like that's, I'm making more money than Chris Turner on his first game. So now he sold 200. He's scaled from there. He sold like 250 units of his next game at 10 grand gross. That's 2.5 mil. This game shouldn't be that expensive to build from what I'm looking at. You know, he should
Use
be
the
making
right
over
lane
$1
to take
million.
exit 90BA.
Like, that's good for him. But again, when they're first starting out, you look at the numbers and they're not like that great. So again, I don't, you know, Wonderland could explode too, but
In a quarter
you know,
mile,
it's
use the
all a
right
business
lane to
risk.
take the Florida
And
414
when I'm
West
trying to
Maitland
crunch
Boulevard
numbers
round.
and be at like a $4,000 price point, guys, I mean, I have to be perfect. Everything in my company has to be perfect. The marketing, the product, what I'm doing. My big focus again is gameplay.
Use
so
the right lane to take the
how I
Florida
do my lock
414
bar, I
West
still
ramp.
don't know. You know, I could still go with something off the shelf.
Continue
Really
on
don't
Florida
know. For
414
you guys that
West
are
for
newer
3
and don't
miles.
know, on my original thread, I said I would build my own coils, which again, I've talked about EMG guitar pickups. All these guitar companies build their own coils. Guitar pickup is a coil, and they spin those 14,000 or 20,000 times. They don't spin them. You know, a coil for pinball is 1080. So you're talking about 1,000 or 800 times. You know, a guitar pickup has to spin way more than that. So it's doable, but the Pinball Life guy decided to cut me up just because I said I could build them cheaper internally. And he just basically said, like, I needed $100,000 equipment just to put a diode on a pinball coil, right? And so, you know, I was looking at being a business partner with him. I have talked to him over the years about his parts, what I could get them at a cost, and he told me kind of, you know, I could give you a lockdown bar for this or that. I had asked him about meeting him during one of the trade shows in Chicago, said come at a different time. So I was gonna fly on my own at a different time, look at pricing and parts and stuff. But yeah, he decided to cut me up, said I needed 100 grand tooling for this and that. I couldn't do everything, and that's why I'm really hesitant still to work with him. You know, somebody that's that unhinged, and to do that when you've been literally, I just was gonna fly to you, and then you go online and say that. Now again, the backstory too, on that same thread, there was a guy like, so basically the Pinball Life guy wrote like a 30-minute article about 10 minutes after another guy on a random night posted that building coils was dumb as shit, and that why would I do that? I should just be in bed with my wife, who is blah, 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 blah. So he called out my wife by name and everything, and I'm like, that's fucked up. That guy had like a Pinside account for 12 years. And the Pinball Life guy's been around for a while, so I didn't know if that was his friend. And then he told him, like, hey, this guy said he's going to build his own coils cheaper than buying from you. And so the timing was weird, and I called him out for that. But, you know, I've since bought parts from the guy. You know, it's not like Pinball Life guy himself was, like, talking shit about my wife or, like, anything personal. But, again, when he's saying you need 10,000, or sorry, 100 grand just to solder a diode, that's not correct. You know, I like to be 100% honest with people. I'm not going to live forever. I wanted to start a school for programming at some point, maybe too. Like I'm interested in sharing ideas and having people learn and grow. Same way I did. I learned how to program by going on forums and asking video game developers, how do you program? Well, how do you solve this problem? I reached out to Nintendo. Hey, how do you make video games? I want to make video games. They told me go to this college.
At the light, turn left onto Magnolia Homes Road.
But fuck, I don't know. It's just a long rant, guys. Again, I'm on my way to check out some lumber and stuff. But see you guys later.